Hail, hail, the Celtics are here, and what the hell do we care now? It's in the split, we're the second game in, we're at home, and we're here for the Sorare CSC on the Celtics are here. I'm Quinny, and we're joined as always by McBride. Good to see you, mate. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail. I was just turning my volume down there because I forgot I'd actually turned it up earlier, and you nearly burst my eardrums there. Good evening, everyone. I see the comment already asking if the tickets are coming from Ticketus, so I was just laughing at that. So I don't think they are, no. But there we go.
Aye, sorry. I've just had a wee malfunction with the old headphones there. It's just put me off for a second there, sorry. But yeah, it's going to be a good one this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Tonight on the show as well, we've been running a competition over the last couple of weeks. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers. So with all the subscribers we've had over the last year or so, especially, we've got some tickets. We'll give them away. So we had a preview into the Dundee game. We'll be giving 2 tickets away to that. And we had a video out earlier today as well, kind of reacting and going through a little bit of a preview ahead into today. Again, we'll be pulling 2 random winners out of that one as well for the game. So stay with us throughout the stream today. We'll be previewing the game, have a wee look at it, chatting some stuff, maybe building some lineups towards the end of it as well, because it's a huge game week, McBride. You know, it's a big one. Hearts at home is never boring, is it?
Yeah, I know it's going to be an interesting one. I think is that the last. We're starting a bad note, but is it the last 2 games against Hearts we've lost? Is that right? We beat Parkhead and we lost at Tynecastle as well. So I watched a bit of the Hearts semi-final against the team we won't name, and I thought they were pretty poor, to be honest. So definitely not in as good form as they have been. I wouldn't say we're in vintage form either, to be honest, at the moment. But I think we'll be really up for this one. Honestly, I'm pretty bullish in this one. I think if we can keep Shankland quiet or keep the supply to him quiet, then I don't think Hearts will cause us many issues. But there we go. Thought we would have been more comfortable against Dundee as well, and that was a bit of squeaky bum time, I think, there.
Well, yeah, Dundee because we beat them 7-1 not too long ago, it did kind of maybe promise itself to be a bit easier than where it was. But Des Park's not been a happy hunting ground this season, certainly. And yeah, like you say, Hearts' form's pretty tidy. You know, they lost to Rangers, they lost to Ross County, but outside of that, that's a really neat run they've got there.
Yeah. They always seem to be on a good run, and then they're absolutely horrendous against Rangers. Anyways, let's hope they're horrendous against us on Saturday as well. But I mean, I think from Celtic's point of view, so 4 games left, 3 games are at home, and I think the fans will really be up for it now as well. I think we're really, you know, although we've had some squeaky bum time moments and stuff recently, we still won the semi-final, still got through, still won 2-1 at Dundee. So we're still getting results, which is far better than playing bad and dropping points like we were sort of doing earlier on the season. So even just a wee bit of change, when you look outside, the sun's out and everything, it's kind of nice going to the games in May where you're going and hopefully it's not peeing down with rain and all that type of stuff. But I think it'll be a really good one on Saturday. I think everybody will be proper up for it. I think Celtic Park will be rocking, and if we can get behind the team and the team can give us some cheer as well, we could be pretty good. So
yeah, I love it as well. It's kind of like the opposite of Champions League. Like in Champions League, you want it to be nighttime and cold and like under the floodlights and everything. But then this time of the year, you love being able to go to a beer garden afterwards, you know, and get really enjoy it and all the rest of it.
Before rather than afterwards, but maybe before and afterwards.
Yeah, you know, all dependent on the result, I think, isn't it? Hail to everyone that's joining us tonight live. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and maybe somewhere else. I'm not too sure. But thanks to everyone that's joined us as well. Get involved in the live chat as well. Let us know if you've entered the competition, if you're a subscriber of the channel and you're looking to get yourself on a wee ticket. But yeah, good to see all of you joining us here. There's lots to get through tonight. And the Hearts team, like, you know, it does change a little bit. You know, it's not a set and forget kind of lineup they've got. They do kind of alter a little bit depending on home and away opposition and a few different things. So it's kind of hard to know exactly what we're walking into, isn't it?
Yeah, so it'll be the Battle of the Forests. Yeah. Alan Forrest against James Forrest. Yeah, I mean, I guess they'll probably go with the 3 at the back coming to Celtic Park, you would have thought. You know, they're kind of funny team, Hearts. I mean, I was pretty disappointed with their performance in the semi-final, to be honest. I thought they were pretty poor. So we'll see. And I think that also Celtic have got more to play for overall. I think Hearts are pretty secure now in terms of that position. So Will they be as sort of motivated for the game? We'll see whether that's a factor as well. I guess the nerves can creep in and all that sort of stuff, but I think from Celtic's point of view, they kind of try and keep it nice and solid as well, and not do anything daft early on, because I guess thinking back to like St Mirren game, where they were like time wasting after like 5 minutes, and they were quite well organised, and there was a bit of frustration creeping in. But then, in the second half, once we got a goal, scored a couple and stuff as well. So I'm actually quite confident for the weekend. I know I'm an eternal optimist here. Quinny, Hearts are PISH. Well, I hope I'm right. I mean, we've been quite bullish quite a lot, and it's not always really come off in terms of Mark Patrick Rare promoting 7-0 wins and all that type of stuff. So, just kind of thinking back to like when we beat Aberdeen 5-0 in the last game of the season, last year and stuff as well, where we weren't really in good form, but it was a home game and everybody was up for it. And once that sort of goal went in or whatever, there was only really one winner. So I'd like to see another day like that, particularly for the old heart and everything as well.
Yeah, easy afternoons are definitely what we're after. And our form isn't too shabby either coming into this. The only loss we have is Hearts, in this kind of run. It doesn't include cup matches, the little thing we're looking at. But otherwise, we finally, I think we were talking about it on a stream maybe last week. I was doing this kind of solo, but we did break into a good wee run there outside of the Hearts game of scoring 3 goals or more. Against Dundee, that didn't really happen. Also, just the 2. But there is, we're in the best form we've been in all season. You could say.
Yeah, I think we'll get the players now to try and control the game. I mean, for me, like kind of address the elephant in the room, I don't think Callum McGregor really looks fit. Performance levels wise, I think it's kind of reflecting that as well. So I can see why obviously Rodgers would want him in, because it's really, there are games where you need influence and you need experience. But Hatate's obviously been playing, which is good. Matt O'Reilly I thought was pretty quiet in the last game as well, so I'd like to see him having a bit more influence over the game as well. We're at home, we should be on the front foot, and you'd imagine we're going to have to sort of capitalise on the chances that come, etc. I think James Forrest playing well is a boost. I mean, we can leave all the stuff aside about whether or not at this stage we should be relying on him, etc. But the guy is tried and tested, proven, scoring big goals, big games, big moments, all that type of stuff. So I think I'd far rather he was in the lineup at the weekend than Yang or Palma or any of that type of stuff, because I know who I'd fancy to score a goal on Saturday, and his brother's playing for Hearts. So
yeah, I think it's a good one for Forrest coming into this for sure, because he is just coming to life at the right time, isn't he? And we've seen pictures of Maeda training this week as well. So like you say, we've got the right players in the right positions. We've now got headaches again in a good way for who could start at the weekend. Kuhn has been on like a decent run, hasn't he, without really producing much. I say decent in like the not crap way, like he's not been bad, he's not been missing chances or not actually contributing to the team or anything. Last 5 games here, pretty solid. He's getting crosses in, he's beating people when it's 1-on-1, and it's easy to see him maybe drop out if Maeda comes back in, but also it's easy to see him keep his place because he's been playing every week.
Yeah, I mean, he got the goal in the semi-final as well, so he followed that up well. I do like him. I mean, I think he gives us something. I think we've got quite high expectations of what we would like people to do, and it's kind of, maybe they're a wee bit unrealistic sometimes in terms of people playing brilliant every week. But I mean, Maeda being available would be absolutely brilliant. Honestly, I said this to you earlier. I do think that actually Maeda will probably start from the bench. I think that the real key game to have him available would be the Rangers game as well, because he's he does so well in that position in terms of the pressing and all that type of stuff. But it has been quite noticeable how much we've missed him, when you're rolling out sort of Yang and stuff there, who I think he does have some qualities, just don't think he's really there with end product and stuff yet. So he will be a good player, but we're not talking about who's going to be a good player. We're talking about who can win the game on Saturday and stuff. So I think maybe if Maeda is fighting fit and he's ready, then maybe Maeda on the left and Forrest on the right would be a good combination. And even though Ida sometimes comes in and does well, it seems fairly insistent on starting with Furuhashi at least at the moment, and then maybe bringing on Ida more as a impact type player later on. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not maybe there's a wee change there. Furu, even the semi-final, I don't think he scored in the semi-final, but he did win that ball against the defender and the rebound, and then obviously Kuhn scored. So he made that with his pressing and stuff. So he does still offer something, but I just don't think the style of play always really suits him. So it's going to be really interesting, but it's nice to see a kind of stable back line. Fairly sure a lot of people probably would disagree with that and say that maybe Novrocky deserves a chance, but this stage I don't really see that changing myself, given the importance of the games and stuff.
Yeah, I think as much of the team, I don't think Rodgers wants to change anything unless he absolutely has to now at this stage. That's why I think maybe Kuhn does just keep the shirt, and is it like you said to me, Forrest from the start on the left and then bring Maeda on for Ferry. But I think if Maeda's like back to now, like kind of want Maeda to start on the left, but then it's Forrest. Do you put him over Kuhn on the right, or But I think that defense stays. I think the midfield, it's the McGregor element of it. We've been speaking about it now for a few weeks, but like with Hearts as well, because they are the most dangerous striker in the league. So you need to stop the supply to him. Is this the game where you just you be real about the situation and say McGregor cannot be defensive midfield? In this situation, we still need to win the game. We can't be counting too many chickens too quickly here. So we don't get 3 points against Hearts. We'll know all about it. Not to be forgotten. So, I think that's maybe one of the biggest question marks or the two question marks are centre mid and right wing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like what Iwata gives us in there. I mean, I think he's one of those guys where you would describe him as like an unsung type hero as well, where he comes in and he does a lot of this sort of hard graft for other people, and dare I say, just bring a wee bit more energy into that position as well. McGregor looks a bit off it. I mean, I don't know whether he's actually still carrying that injury or whether he's actually protecting himself. He's not trying not to overextend himself, but he doesn't really look like himself. I remember watching him for Scotland. He was playing a game and he played like 10 games in 7 weeks or whatever, and you're thinking this guy must be knackered, and he was running about and he looked quite slick, he looked quite sharp, he was twisting and turning the ball quite easily, and he just feels as if he's not really actually influencing a game at the moment. You're playing against Dundee and it looks as if the midfield was a bit kind of non-existent, and I guess we're used to us controlling the tempo of the game. So when we do get the ball at the weekend, I think it's quite important that him, Hatate and O'Reilly kind of control the game as well, and as you say, make sure that we're not giving the ball away and getting those chances for the sort of transition and balls into Shankland and things. Because remember the game, we were winning like 3-0 or something away at Hearts, and Maeda went on a maze at the edge of his box, just gave the ball to Shankland and they scored. It was like we were on for all sorts of SO5 wins and everything. We totally dominated the ball as well, fantasy football wins, in case people don't know what SO5 is, and Maeda just does something daft. So, but that's the quality of the type of striker you're playing against, type of guy where if you give him a chance, he can kind of score, even if it's from outside the box. So you've got to be really, really sharp and really, really careful, I think. But impose our game on Hearts and try and do what we did against Dundee at home, where we just completely sort of dominated the game, and fingers crossed maybe we get a wee early goal or whatever, that would settle things down as well.
Yeah, when the first goal goes in, just decides so much of our season, I think, because it's total sliding doors. If we get the first goal, we're always just a wee bit more relaxed, and then you kind of feel that kind of get onto the pitch, and maybe we start to see some of our better football. But Hearts are top of the food chain party crashers in that experience, so you definitely can. I say there's just no second guessing it or taking it lightly in that regard. The last game we had, just to kind of pull it up, the Dundee match, because like you say, it was a rather underwhelming match. The whole midfield, none of them really grabbed the game at all at any point. The defence were okay for the most part, and if it wasn't for Forrest, I don't know who would have scored. Like really, I know. Honest with you. So it was a bit of a non-event. It's not like we've went past Dundee with any real conviction in that regard. But for the midfield, we're talking about minutes in the legs or miles in the legs for McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly. Like these guys really need to step up at the weekend, don't they, compared to last weekend?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, we do. I think so. After this week, we've got the Rangers game, and then we've got Kilmarnock away, and then we've got the Smyrna game at home. So the good thing just now is we've even though we had the sort of extra time against Aberdeen and things, you've got like the full week to prepare for games. So I don't think there's really any excuse for not being able to turn up on Saturday and be at it. You know, like I think you've got to be like you're at home. The stadium's going to be buzzing. You've got to be on it straight away type thing. And you are playing against the top six, and sometimes you look at it and say, well, we battered Dundee the last time and stuff, but they've done pretty well this season, so got to give a wee bit of respect to our teams as well. And Hearts have beaten us twice, so we can't just turn up and just expect to win here. It's like we would be expected to win, I think, at this stage with the experience and making sure we win the league, but you've got to go out and do it. You've got to go out and play well and all that type of stuff. So just hope it's not one of those games where it does get a bit edgy at the start, and then you can feel the nerves in the stadium, I think, at Celtic Park as well. I don't think we're as convincing this year, and I think that once you get 10 or 15 minutes in and we're not playing very well, people are taken aback a bit by this. But I think what I'd urge everybody to do on Saturday is just be kind of intent on going for it and getting behind the team, because that's what we need. We need a good sort of difficult atmosphere for Hearts, no matter what they're doing, and be right on top of them. And if we do that, I think we'll win by a couple of goals, to be honest. So
yeah, well, I'm just kind of looking at McGregor just to see like the kind of recent form in the season he's had and whatever. And the last couple of games have not been that great, certainly coming back from this injury. And before then, he was doing pretty good for himself. But as I scroll through this, the last time we lost against Hearts, which was the last time we played them this year, he wasn't involved in the match. But then I scrolled back a little bit further, and then, the time before that we played them and lost, he played in that one. So I thought maybe that was maybe a wee hidden thing where maybe we hadn't played them, and that's why we would be dropping the points. 4-1 victory the time before that, around 63 points score there out of 100. So 4-1 victory. I don't know how I feel about McGregor coming into this game, because of I think the need that we have for a defensive midfielder in this line to help us just make sure that we do control the first half. We do come out, get the first goal, and then we can get that real control in the match. And McGregor for me is a much better like dovetail with Hatate. If Hatate is not going to play 90 minutes at the moment, and you take one of the more important matches of the season, like Hatate, you get 65, 70 out of him. You give McGregor the other 25 or whatever. You keep that position really well armed for like the full 90 minutes. In the way I can water carry the whole game, obviously, in between, that person and O'Reilly. So I think that just makes real sense. But McGregor's going to start, isn't he? Really?
I think he will. I think he will. I just think we all know that even if we're talking about it, he'll still start. The other thing I was kind of want to point out is I feel like people have really realised like that Scales and Taylor are the vulnerability in terms of the defence as well. So even you see the Dundee game, remember the first chance they created, they got the ball down Johnson's side and they put in exactly the same cross that we conceded the 2 goals against Aberdeen to, and lo and behold, it went right over Scales' head, and the guy came in and he kind of sclaffed it a bit, and it was a reasonably big chance for him. So, I mean, Celtic have also got to get wise to that as well. Greg Taylor and Scales have got to sort that out. They're professional footballers, and how many times you're going to make the same mistake? I mean, those will always say personally, like, you make a mistake, right? But then the rule is don't make the same mistake again. So be annoyed at yourself if you keep making the same mistake, because you've had that experience and you know what to do. So I don't know, Scales, maybe his problem is mobility. I mean, I think that's maybe if he was a bit faster, then maybe we'd get away with some of the stuff. But, it's the same type of ball that's coming over all the time. And they're not going to target Vickers because Vickers is superb. So Scales and Taylor are going to have to stand up to that, right? So that's going to be really interesting as well, because you're playing against a guy where you can't give him space in the box. If you give Shankland a chance, there's a high chance that you're going to actually concede. And from a Sorare point of view, fantasy football point of view, I'm desperate for a clean sheet. But see if we just went out and bashed them 7-2 or whatever, I don't care. Like, I'd just rather have a game where it comes to 5 o'clock and on the verge of a heart attack. Like, I mean, it's like, and Sunday I watched this in Mirren Rangers game as well. I don't often do that. If I was going to watch it, it's the running and all that type of stuff. 90 minutes of tension there and watching it done, and you're like, oh, honestly, like, need a lie down after this. Sure, everybody felt the same way from that point of view. But yeah, it's a home game as well, and hopefully we're not as vulnerable in that we can control the game a bit more. And Hatate again, I think is pretty important for that too, because when he's really on it, he's quite easy. He can easily get the ball and glide past a couple of guys and really start taking them out of the team, and then they're worrying about what sort of damage we're doing to them rather than us worrying about transitions and back post crosses and all that type of stuff. So
yeah, not fair enough. Yeah, as I say, we are Celtic and we are at home, so yeah, definitely that's the the top of the agenda in terms of the attitude and the approach to the game.
yeah,
But like I just had Shanklin's stats on screen there, just when you see the amount of goal contributions, but it's just
yeah,
and especially like we mentioned already, just for how important the first goal can be in some of these games. Because maybe a little bit of a side note, right? Did you see the VAR report that came out from the SFA like yesterday or today?
I didn't read through the whole thing, but it's kind of like it was about 18 or 20 wrong decisions or something. I don't know. I remember there have been a number of wrong decisions still, but aye.
Part of that report that they don't really highlight is it's like an interim report, so it's not like the whole season. It's like from the January to now or something. It's so even though they're trying to say it's like small, it's only like a little portion of the season, and even who's deciding if they're right or wrong? It's still like it's ex pros,
Yeah.
refs, and all that. It's a gang of people. It's not like like FIFA or FIFPro or the head of the refs and like Kalina or something. It's just them again looking at it.
Tell you what, I watched. I know it's nothing to do with Celtic. I watched Champions League game the other night. There was 2 penalties. The referee was brilliant. VAR, when they were checking the penalties, you wouldn't have realised it was VAR in operation because whatever they were doing didn't really seem to affect the game, and nothing in that game affected the game. It was a brilliant game of football, and it wasn't this stop-start. We're away for 5 minutes. Nobody knows what's going on. Rubbish. The technology is maybe part of the problem, because I think that when you get to the point where you're having to draw lines and stuff, you say, well, this is technology, right? The technology should be doing that. They shouldn't have a human drawing lines. Like, it should be a program, and that should, in this day and age, be possible. But it's the same guys that were sort of complaining about applying handball rules and everything who are also operating the VAR. And people's argument is, well, it gets the percentage up in terms of the right decisions, but it's humans that are operating this, and unless you get a program where you do the offside and you do the goal line stuff, and then you just let the referee the game, you're always going to have disagreements about all that type of stuff. So I don't know about you, Quinny, but I'm in the camp where I would just do a Sweden and just say, right, we're against lockdowns, we're against VAR, we're just going to, just say no to everything. And, I think the game would be more enjoyable actually watching it without VAR at the moment in terms of experience, given the sort of state of the general refereeing. And then with the handball thing, I think that the problem is that a lot of the time it looks a lot worse when you slow it down and you see it, and then they start giving things that in real time the referees just wouldn't actually give. That I think that's the big problem with it, and the refs.
I think the one thing that I can never just get out of my mind whenever we're thinking about this in Scotland is that it does protect us against the absolute ridiculous that they have in the past awarded against us or not given us and whatever, if you know what I mean. I know it's like we've got some quotes in here like VAR's a scam and we can't trust them and all that, which I agree with, right? But
yeah,
if we don't have it, we've got even less protection from them. Like if they send somebody off and they shouldn't, it does save us a little bit from the absolute getting rubber ducked.
Yeah, I think the problem is though that when it was brought out, there was this. It's got to be a clear and obvious error, and now a lot of the times either the referee seems to be shirking the decision, thinking if it's an obvious one that VAR will make it, or it's just kind of one of those where the referee's re-refereeing the game from VAR. Like if you look at the one, obviously we've had like Yang sent off at Tynecastle and all that type of stuff, and a lot of these things look maybe a bit more innocuous in real time, but then they look terrible once you start slowing it down and showing this angle and chopping bits off and showing this and not showing the whole motion. And it's just, I think it's bonkers. I mean, I get there's big business here. There's you're going to be talking about winning and losing. You're going to be talking some of the huge leagues tens of millions of pounds difference in prize monies and all that type of stuff. But it just seems to me as if it's still evolving and still not really got a handle on it. And maybe the problem just is that the referees just aren't professional enough. I'm not saying that they're inherently unprofessional, but maybe if they were doing that as a full-time type job and that was their occupation and they committed all their time to it, rather than some of them maybe being sort of part-time and turning up for games or whatever, then you would actually get a better level of consistency or whatever, because they would be more sharing what's happened in our games and saying, right, we'll do this, and that's a frustrating thing. One game you'll see one that looks really blatant, they'll not be given, and 2 weeks later it'll look really blatant, they'll give it, and you think that's the right decision, and you think, well, how did they get that wrong 2 weeks ago? Because anybody could look at that and say, well, that's actually pretty obvious. And when VAR come in, we get some ridiculous decisions against them. Remember that? The penalties were given against them, just brushed somebody's hand and they started giving penalties and stuff. And like that mad game, which was at Tynecastle as well. It was a 4-3 game at Tynecastle. So with a lot of belters against Hearts. So
let's hope there's no repeat of that, certainly. And I think we're all kind of unanimous. We're on the same boat when it comes to the feeling against the refs and the situation and all the rest of it, because you can only call it as you see it. And we are biased and we do have green tinted glasses on, but it doesn't change the fact that Daiza Maeda gets booked every game for being fouled, and all that kind of all the other stuff that's more obvious, of course. Yeah. But hopefully the ref doesn't come into it. And I kind of like a little bit of this referee intention that's built up a little bit, because I think we were all a little bit worried at one point of the season that Rodgers thought things were fine at one point, and they kind of weren't,
Yeah.
And there could be no complacency, especially when it's so tight on the board like it is now, But when when all the players no, you're not just telling them, oh yeah, that's they actually have been living it all season for the end of the newer ones. You need to be so good that the ref can't stop you, Then that's a good mentality for us to have for this final stretch, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem when you've only got 3 points lead to now. We're in a far better position than we thought we were going to be maybe about 6 weeks ago or whatever, because now we do have a 3 points lead. We're looking good in terms of goal difference. We've been to play against the Glasgow Derby, as we call it these days. So, we're in a more comfortable position. But if you're in a race where you're on even points or whatever, then a bad decision against you can change things. And ultimately, I think we did get some kind of questionable decisions at Tynecastle away, but again, we got a penalty and we missed it, so we can only really blame ourselves for that. You've got to capitalise on things as well. You've got to take your chances. You can't be turning up at the weekend and missing 4 chances, then Shanklin scores and go, oh, we're hard done by and everything. Well, that's because we need 4 chances to score, and every time he gets 1 or 2 chances he scores, he's clinical, so we need to start kind of doing that, I think, and then we get the right result. I think that stands us in really good stead for a huge game the following week as well. And ultimately, if we win this weekend, it's completely and utterly in our hands as well, isn't it? It's all within our control. It's going to be, a really, really tough game for opposition teams coming to Celtic Park as well. So just got to keep going, doing the business, deal with whatever comes our way,
Yeah, totally. Now, sadly, we don't have a predicted Hearts 11 going into the weekend, but we do have a predicted Celtic 11 coming into the weekend.
Yes, who did this? Oh, it's me. Recognise that. So I think a lot of this picks itself, really. I mean, back 4, I don't think, if you had to ask me, should Nawrocki get a chance at some point? I think in recent form, if it was earlier on in the season, maybe, but I just don't see Scales being a risk. I think he'll just keep the back 4. Hatate and O'Reilly pretty much pick themselves. Cal McGregor, again, have got my really high percentage. I just don't think actually in this type of game there's any risk that he's not going to start. He might not see the game out, but I don't think there's a risk that he'll sort of won't start. And then in terms of the other positions, I've already got Maeda in there as a sort of small percentage, but also I've got sort of Forrest in as a chance of playing the right-hand side as well, as we were talking about. So I do think that if Maeda's fit, you could well see Forrest on the right. So we'll need to sort of adjust those percentages and everything once we see if there's any actual news out. I mean, obviously, Maeda was seen in training, but you don't know if that's light training, or we've seen often in the past people come into training and they're not quite sort of ready. So it'd be good if we get a press conference before 3 o'clock for the fantasy football deadline. And then I think with Furuhashi, I always have him as a sort of lower percentage these days, because I'm just thinking that Ida has done quite a lot off the bench over the course of the season, and some point maybe Brendan thinks, well, this isn't really working here. If we're going to be playing against a lower block or whatever, and we're putting balls across, we want Ida in there for the start and to mix it up a wee bit. But based on all the recent games, even the semi-final as well, Furuhashi has started all of them. So it's kind of hard to predict anything else. So I think it'll probably be pretty similar again, where they'll both share the game time in some way. And even if Ida did start, you can bet your bottom dollar that Furuhashi's coming on for the last half an hour or whatever in whatever capacity. So yeah, I don't think it's a hard lineup to call, but there's definitely some big decisions in there depending on whether or not he feels Maeda's sharp enough, and what he gives us when he's not got the ball is pretty important to Celtic as well. So I think it's worth, if he is fit, getting him in there, as long as it's not really jeopardising like him playing for the last couple of games as well, last 3 games too, because they're all huge games obviously at the moment. So
yeah, exactly. Between now and the end of the season, everyone knows a cup final. The cliche is in full effect. Now I know last week,
and then an actual cup final. So
yeah, exactly. I think it was last weekend, but you were all Division 1 with Celtic last weekend. You were in all the big divisions looking for it. I had a few of them. They got relegated. How did you fare last week?
I think I actually managed to scrape a few staying into the top divisions, which was pretty good. So I think one of my teams obviously had Vickers and Scales in, so that worked out okay, because they still managed pretty dominant performances, albeit we conceded a goal. So I just sort of scraped into staying safe in that one, which is pretty good. So we were happy with that, because I do feel as if it is still a good fixture. I mean, I had a look at the XG, the expected goals stuff, when I was doing my own stuff, and I think it was like 2.6 or whatever. So we're expected to score between 2 and 3 goals. So for me, this game comes down to delivering on that, but also making sure we don't do daft stuff at the back. If we keep it pretty solid, pretty concentrated at the back, then I think we'll score enough goals to win the game. And we do, with having Hatate back and everything now, with having options, feels as if we've got more sort of general firepower there as well. And Palma's been absolutely Johnny Rotten since he's come back, but he is the type of guy where you could see he could get you a goal off the bench and all that type of stuff. So having guys like that available to maybe come in if you do need a goal in the last 20 minutes or whatever. Ida has scored loads of goals that have really helped us this season, Motherwell, Hibs, all that type of stuff. So, I think we're in a better position looking at a stable starting lineup, but having good options in the bench with some goal scoring options there as well. Good.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, lots of options coming into this week. I'm all Division 2. I got relegated everywhere, sadly. I got Division 3 promoted with like Scales and Kyogo or something like that. So I've got 4 Division 2 rare teams going out. So this is 5-a-side fantasy football: 1 defender, 1 mid, 1 forward, and then 1 of any extra position. And me and McBride are the big Celtic players in town, basically. So we're running different combos and all the rest of it. But yeah, these are my 2 bottom ones. And then my 2 I've got a money team going out. I'm going to risk Maeda in the money team, not with an O'Reilly, but we'll be keeping O'Reilly separate. But Forest and stuff, just thought, hey, if he does even come off the bench and sneak something, it'll be worth it. And if he does get a start, like my hunch is telling me he might, then I'll be putting my thumbs up and saying, yeah, got it. There'll be a Tate card as a forward from Japan as well. Love to see that alongside the Forest and Tani as well. So some different keepers in case Hart doesn't get that clean sheet. Wee bit edging my bets. And then I think McGregor starts, doesn't he? Big team in the All-Star.
Yeah. James Forrest there as well. That's sneaky, isn't it? I had one of them in the closet as well, just sitting there doing absolutely nothing for ages. And it's like, this guy's a viable option now. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I think being a home game, then it's amongst the best fixtures and stuff. I know what like. It's just, I like to think about things quite logically. And, from our point of view, we think, well, we've been pretty leaky and all that type of stuff. But the stats are the projected clean sheet percentage is 50%. So that might sound quite low to people, but 60% clean sheet percentage is really high in football these days. So, if you're in amongst 50%, then that's Celtic probably underperforming in a league where you've only got realistically 2 sort of goodish teams, and then the rest are the rest, really. Hearts are the best of the rest, probably at the moment. Although I thought Aberdeen played pretty well at Hampden. But yeah, there's some really nice teams, and I like the Forest selection as well. I think that he scored 3 goals in 2 games, and even if he doesn't start, I think he will start, but if he doesn't, you would always fancy him to come on and nick one of those goals or assists at the end. Maeda charges Teslas. He's a maniac. But I mean, the good thing about having Maeda in is we're talking about that sort of setting the tone type thing, and you know fine well that if Celtic parks up for it and he starts, that he's going to be harassing the life out of somebody within 5 minutes, and that type of thing. I think, whilst it's the supporters need to get behind the team, sometimes it's good when the team gives you something to get behind as well and get the atmosphere sparked. You know, maybe even it's a early attack, an early corner, everybody's all going bonkers in that corner with the Green Brigade, whatever, you know, just something to get things going, a tackle, whatever, you know. We'll see whether Hearts come and stroll about or whether they do their usual where it's all action type performances against Celtic. Anyway, let's not get into conspiracy theories or who plays well against who and all that type of stuff, because I've lost the last 2, so we'll need to be on it. But I'm confident about it. I don't know. I don't know how you're feeling about things, Quinny. I don't think we've been playing well, but I'm confident for this run, knowing we've got 3 games at home. Tough one's going to be Kilmarnock away, I guess, but realistically, it might be over by then, effectively. So, you know, that might work in our favour as well.
I'm more confident than I've been this season that we are good enough to actually be the better team, win the game, score enough goals, and put on a show, especially at home and that kind of stuff, more than I've been earlier this season with just different things that have been going on all season long. Yeah. But I definitely don't come into this game hyped, you know, thinking, yeah, we're getting 3, we're getting 4, you know, and this will happen and we're going to run all over them. This guy's on great form and I'll watch out for him. You know, I think we've got the guys that I could leave the game talking like that, but can't really go into the game talking like that. That's how I'm kind of feeling with it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but we have got some guys in form as well. You know, we've got James Forrest in form, and what's that? I said guys. I'm again. I mean, Hatate, I think, has been pretty good since he's come back. I don't think he hit the post and he missed a sitter against Dundee, but at least we're actually creating things, because if you think back to some of the games when he wasn't involved, we were struggling for actually creating things and getting through defences and that type of stuff. So I think when Hatate's playing, we're more likely to open teams up, and even if Hearts are quite resolute, I could still see us unlocking the door there. And then once you do get that first or second goal, then teams' attitude has to change. You know, if their game plan was to set in a bit and frustrate us, sometimes they've got to come out, and then there's games where that suits us. Maybe suits Furuhashi a bit more as well. But let's just hope it's one of those games, not one of those games where, you know, we miss a penalty and somebody gets sent off and it changes the games. It's one of those games where we decide the game when we get the first and the second goal, or we're solid. We're just, even if we don't, if it is a 0-0 at half time or whatever, it's not, we've given away a daft goal or whatever, you know. Because they are third, you know, we can't be taking anybody lightly at this stage. It's the top 6, and you know, they're all well organised outfits, and they deserve to be in Europe as well.
I'm totally with you there, mate. Now, I'll be going to the game, and 4 winners on the channel will be going to the game as well. I think I need to do the winners one at a time, just the way the little system works, okay? And without any further ado, I think we'll get the first winner. So we're getting 2 winners pulled out of the Dundee preview on the CSC that we did last week. Or was it? Yeah, it was the CSC, wasn't it? I'm not sure. Make sure I've got the right one loaded up. Yeah, it was that one. I remember doing it live. Yeah, it was that one. So I've got that loaded up. We're going to get 2 winners out of that, and then we're going to get 2 winners out of the video that went live earlier today. So you need to be a subscriber. It's all pre-programmed and all the rest of it. We're pushing for 10,000, guys. 4 tickets we're giving away to Hearts today. Now, I can't make any promises, right? But I could probably get another giveaway like this sorted for the title party end of the season if we get to 10,000 subs on YouTube. So if you do follow us anywhere, you get any friends or family, anyone that's a good old Celtic fan that loves good old Celtic chat, make sure they hit the subscribe button, get involved in the ticket giveaways, all the comps, the content, everything here, there, and everywhere. And the more you back us, the more we can do. That's kind of the way this game works. If you ever seen Mr. Beast, it's just the way it goes. So anyway,
you're not Mr. Beast level, Quinny. Sorry, I'm not giving you that.
no, not me. But that's just the way social media works. You support people, and the channel can get bigger and give you stuff. It's kind of
definitely.
So anyway, the first winner is Kune Samaras. Congratulations. He's reckoning it's going to be 2-1 and McGregor man of the match. Isn't that a shout?
Interesting. That's pretty interesting.
Was that
the Dundee video?
Oh, that was a Dundee video. But maybe...
right then, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he was right. 2-1. Don't know about McGregor man of the match. But yeah, he was right. Spot on.
I don't think he was right with McGregor man of the match, but got the result, so... Superb. Congratulations.
Just put the message together. Awesome. I'll just copy. No. I'll just. There we go. Sorted. Now we should be able to. Can I maybe just reload this page and go again? We might have the winner 2 out of this video. Dead easy to do. Yes, it is. Fantastic. So, congratulations to Samaras, the first guy that's won it here. The second winner out of that video. Tickets for Kilmarnock. No, tickets to away games just is not possible for me and whatnot. No, that's not what I'm talking about either. But yeah. Anyway, second winner out of that video. Thanks to everyone that did join me live solo in it last week. It was good fun. And yeah, thanks to everyone for all the support on the channel, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, everyone that follows us. Myself, Quinny, McBride Ace, Quinny 3001, at Celtic here. Michelle Walsh, or Michael Walsh. Sorry, I was going to say Michelle, because Michelle's Michael Walsh. He says 4-1 to the Celtic before Dundee. Unlucky Michael with that, but congratulations, you won a ticket to Hearts. Let's get that, Michael. Let's get that wee message over to you, and I'll load up the last 2 winners before we sort all that out. So congratulations again, Michael Walsh 2129. Michael Walsh 2129. Excellent, McBride. Good to see, isn't it?
Brilliant. I mean, I must admit, trying to get some extra tickets and things for the game and sold out and in demand, and getting a free ticket like that's absolutely brilliant, and courtesy of Sorare as well, right? So absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so again, 2 seconds, let's load the second video. Yeah, so me and McBride play Sorare. It's a fantasy football game. They're official partners with Celtic, which is why they're able to sell the cards for them and have them in the game and all that. The whole Scottish League is on it, except Rangers, right? And it's kind of funny why Rangers aren't on it. We spoke about it once or twice. Basically because borderline incompetence, and they're just it's really funny.
Another kind of rights deal, wasn't it? And that company became insolvent. Where have we seen that before? Let's not get into that.
So I'm just going to load up the names for the second one. So the video only actually went live earlier today, so it was kind of fastest finger first for this one, but we actually had a lot of comments come in on the video went out this morning. We had 59, so I'm sure we've got some double entries, I'm sure. And then maybe some people didn't go back and double entry back into the past. So a lot more on the line for this one. So ticket number 3 we've got going out goes to, nice wee 12-second run here, McBride. But yeah, thanks again to Sorare for supporting the content, for supporting the channel and everything me and McBride are getting up to over here at the Celtic here, Sorare CSC. And that's Michelle, isn't it? Michelle Shaw, 2668. 2-1 Matt O'Reilly man of the match is the shout for the weekend. We could all do with an O'Reilly man of the match. Michelle
Reid, is that you, or are you been debated again? It's a Michelle, but it's not you.
Yeah, Michelle's definitely been after winning a ticket in the chat here, so I hope that is you, because that would be lovely.
Michelle Reid, she's just going to change her name by deed poll now to Michelle Shaw.
Oh, of course, it says Shaw there, doesn't it? I'm just trying to find that text message I had so I can copy and paste it across. There we go. Sorry. So congratulations, first of all, to Michelle. Let me Jumping Jimmy's. Where are we? There, it's there. Sorted. So let me go and tell you that you've won in case you're not here with us live. And then we'll find the final winner who will be coming to the Hearts game at the weekend. And like I say, guys, if we get to 10,000 subs before the St Mirren game, I'm pretty sure there's a good case we can probably get. What was I checking for there? Oh, yeah, the Dundee one. Michelle, and the winner is Michelle Shaw 2668. Congratulations again. Michelle 2668. And it was 2-1 Matt O'Reilly.
I think if she doesn't reply, we should give it to Michelle Reid by default.
2 seconds before we go giving away tickets. Are we going? Oh, Hendo entered this one. Love to see it. I see a lot of names in the chat here, by the way. Thanks very much, guys, for all the support with the content. Thanks very much for taking part and getting involved. But I cannot find Michelle Shaw. There we go. We found her. What's that? Paradise Windfall. Yeah, by the way, love that. Love that you think that. Yeah, definitely. We'll keep here, by the way. Bigger the channel gets, the more stuff we do here, the more often we can probably do this. So let's load it all up again. 4 + 9 is 13. There we go. Now the final winner is, nice wee 12-second rundown. Build the suspense, guys. It's a huge game week. I'm hoping for quadruple promotion from Division 2 to Division 1 and a smashing all-star team. We'll be playing a wee bit of rivals action when I'm there as well, I'm sure. Nice. And Jack Donohoe, 306. Congratulations, my man. You are the final winner. And what was his shout? 2 games to win. Let's make some memories. Oh, we're making some memories, Jack. We're making memories. Fucking love that. Well done, Jack. Congratulations, mate. Thanks again to everyone that did participate and did get involved. Congratulations again to all the winners. I'm just going to let Jack Donohoe. He was 5 hours ago. He just came. Oh, I suppose that video only went out earlier today.
Let's hope that's Michelle's boyfriend.
That's it. So I've notified all the winners. If you have one, just what you need to do is respond to blah blah blah. You know what to do. Actually, yeah, we'll be in touch with you. We've responded to chats and all the rest of it. Memories of having a heart attack weekly. Yeah, that'll be it for sure. It's been a great one, guys. I'm highly looking forward to the weekend. I think first home game at the Split really is where it gets real, where it gets serious, isn't it? And yeah, a good win against Hearts is something I think Rogers and the rest of the boys will definitely be looking to go and deliver for us all. And the sort of season we've had, we really do need to finish it strong. I think we're shaping up quite well for it, and I'm looking forward to it. Again, thanks to everyone that supported the giveaway, supports the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Get involved in the comment section if you're watching this after we've been live, and let us know what you think ahead of the weekend. And yeah, McBride, it's been a pleasure, mate. How are you feeling ahead of the weekend as we close out?
I'm looking forward to it. I must admit, I think it's going to be a big game, but I'm quietly confident. I don't know why after watching that game against Dundee, but I just thinking a home game, it's different kettle of fish, and I think we'll do the business. Confident.
Yeah. Hail, hail. We'll catch you next week.
Hail, hail, guys.